Did you know that over 19 million Americans suffer with at least one specific phobia? That's more than 1 in 15 people walking around with an intense, irrational fear of something. The chances are you either have one of these fears yourself or you know someone who does. I'm Mark, I'm a hypnotherapist who's helped hundreds of people overcome their deepest fears. In a previous video, we looked at the 5 worst phobias to have. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the 5 most common phobias. We'll explore why these fears are so universal and how they develop. And most importantly, we're going to look at how hypnotherapy can help you break free from these limiting fears once and for all. But first, if you're new here, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video, because I share useful info related to anxiety, relationships, hypnotherapy, and I share transformation stories every week. My goal is to produce content that could genuinely change your life for the better. So subscribe, hit the notification bell. So the first phobia we're going to talk about is arachnophobia. And we're putting this fear at number 1 because this is the number 1 fear. I remember when I was a teenager, a very popular film came out called Arachnophobia. And it's because of films like this and Jaws that people tend to develop irrational fears due to something called the availability heuristic bias. We're going to talk about that later in the video. Let's get back to arachnophobia. So it's not just a case of, oh, I don't like spiders. We're talking about people who can't even look at a picture of a spider without breaking into a sweat. What's interesting is that this fear is found in cultures all around the world, even in countries where dangerous spiders don't exist, have never existed. Why? Scientists believe it's hardwired into our DNA. Our ancestors who were cautious around spiders were more likely to survive and pass on their genes. Studies show that around 30% of women and 18% of men experience some level of arachnophobia. That's roughly 1 in 4 people who get genuinely distressed by our 8-legged friends. I once had a client, let's call her Sandra. She couldn't even say the word spider. She'd had to move apartments 3 times because she'd spotted a spider in her living space. After just 3 hypnotherapy sessions with me, Sandra was able to calmly remove a spider from her bathroom with just a glass and a piece of paper. That's the power of hypnosis, accessing your mind to rewire these deep-seated fears. So what happens in your brain when you're experiencing an arachnophobia episode or any other kind of phobia episode? Your amygdala, you can think of the amygdala as your brain's alarm system. It goes into overdrive. This amygdala, this emotional part of your brain, can react to situations much quicker than the thinking part of your brain knows what's going on. So you'll become triggered into the fight or flight response much quicker than you can think rationally. Your heart might start to race. You might begin to feel dizzy. Your only thought is, a spider, get away. Phobia number 2, and I'm going to struggle to pronounce this. Ophidiophobia. That's the fear of snakes. The fear of snakes makes a bit more logical sense, right? They have big fangs and they can grow quite large. And some snakes actually are very dangerous. But here's the thing, people with this phobia that I'm not going to try and pronounce again, they're going to be terrified of a harmless garden snake just as much as they would be of a black mamba. Again, just like with arachnophobia, this phobia shows up all around the planet Earth, even in countries where dangerous snakes haven't existed for thousands of years. Some researchers think humans evolved an innate snake detection system. Ancestors who could quickly spot snakes in the grass were more likely to survive. It might blow your mind to think that babies as young as 6 months old show signs of distress when they're exposed to snake pictures, even though they've never encountered a real snake. Humans might actually be born with this fear already installed. I had another client who couldn't even watch nature documentaries if there was a chance that snakes might appear. She'd have to leave the room during certain scenes in movies like Indiana Jones. Through hypnotherapy, we discovered her fear stemmed from a childhood incident she'd completely forgotten about. Once we addressed that root memory, that trauma, her fear of snakes diminished dramatically. Research suggests that around 2 to 3% of the population has this clinical condition of the phobia I'm not going to try to pronounce, fear of snakes. But up to 1/3 of adults admit being afraid of snakes to some degree. The third most common phobia is acrophobia. Acrophobia is the fear of heights. Now, having a healthy respect for heights is normal, it keeps us alive. But acrophobia goes way beyond that. We're talking about people who can't go beyond the 2nd floor of a building without panic setting in. The difference between normal caution and acrophobia is that the fear is completely disproportionate to the actual danger. Someone with acrophobia might have a panic attack on a completely safe observation deck with guardrails. Interestingly, acrophobia isn't always about falling. For some people, it's about the sensation of height itself. When I am at high and looking down, I tend to feel dizzy. And your inner ear, which controls your ability to balance, it can send confusing signals when you're up high, making you feel like you're moving when you're not. This phobia can seriously limit someone's life. I've worked with clients who avoided certain careers, couldn't live above the 1st floor. I had a client who, when he booked a hotel, he had to book the ground floor. He couldn't go any higher than that. People can miss out on incredible travel experiences because of this fear of heights, this acrophobia. But what's amazing about hypnosis is that in hypnosis, we can help your mind reframe its relationship with heights. And we can actually use hypnosis to create new calm associations instead of panic. About 5% of the population has acrophobia, but it often doesn't develop until adulthood. Many people are fine with heights when they're children, but they develop this phobia later in life, sometimes after a traumatic experience. And using hypnosis, we can desensitize traumatic memories very effectively. Phobia number 4 is agoraphobia, the fear of open spaces. That's another phobia that I struggle to pronounce. Most people think that agoraphobia is the fear of leaving the house, ever going outside, because many agoraphobia sufferers can become housebound. They can be trapped in their own homes. It's actually more complex than the fear of just going outside. Agoraphobia is the fear of finding yourself in situations where escape might be difficult or embarrassing, where help might not be available if something goes wrong. It's not really about open spaces themselves, it's about feeling trapped or vulnerable. Someone with agoraphobia might be fine in a small cafe that they're familiar with, but in a crowded shopping mall, they would be terrified. This phobia often develops alongside panic disorder. A person might have a panic attack in a public place, and then their brain develops the connection between panic attacks and public places. Public places equal danger. Soon, just thinking about going to that kind of place can trigger anxiety. And as I said, when I started speaking about agoraphobia, it can really limit a person's life, can make them very much isolated. Someone with agoraphobia might rely on family members to do their shopping, or they might order their shopping online. They might avoid social events. They might miss out on important life experiences because this fear is so overwhelming. If you suffer with agoraphobia, here's some hope. I've seen remarkable transformations with agoraphobia through hypnotherapy. One client hadn't left their house in years. After our sessions together, she was not only able to go shopping by herself, she actually went on a solo trip to another continent. With hypnosis, these dramatic shifts become possible. About 1 to 2% of adults experience agoraphobia in any given year. It's twice as common in women as it is in men. Rounding up our top 5 most common phobias is claustrophobia, the fear of confined or enclosed spaces. This goes beyond just preferring spacious rooms. We're talking about genuine panic in elevators, small bathrooms, or even cars during heavy traffic. People with claustrophobia often experience intense physical symptoms. Again, when you move into the fight or flight response, when you experience anxiety, those symptoms you experience are designed to get you out of dangerous situations. Sweating enables you to cool down. Any kind of physical activity your mind perceives may be coming. Your heart rate increases, getting the blood pumping around your body so you can either fight back or run away. The fear isn't just mental, it's a full body experience. From an evolutionary standpoint, this fear might have prevented our ancestors from getting trapped in caves or other dangerous confined spaces. But in modern life, it can involve avoiding elevators, declining MRI scans. It can involve having panic attacks in places like movie theatres. The triggers can be very different for different people. Some people are fine in elevators, but they panic in cars. Others can handle small rooms, but they can't wear tight clothing. The brain is incredibly specific about what it perceives as threatening. I had a client who'd been avoiding elevators for 15 years after they got stuck in one. Traditional talk therapy had helped them a little, but hypnotherapy allowed us to go directly to their subconscious and rewire the traumatic memory. Within 4 sessions, he was comfortably using elevators again. Often, the fastest route to healing is through hypnotherapy. Some say hypnotherapy works on a subconscious level, and the fastest route to healing is through the subconscious mind. About 7 to 10% of the population experience some form of claustrophobia, and that brings us to an important question. How do these phobias form? So why are these 5 fears so common across all of humanity? As I spoke about earlier, the answer could lie in evolution. Most of these phobias are exaggerated versions of fears that kept our ancestors alive. The problem is our ancient brains are running on modern problems. We're still wired to fear things that were dangerous hundreds of thousands of years ago. These fears can also be learned or stem from forgotten traumas. Maybe when you were a child, you saw a parent react to a spider, or you had a traumatic experience in an elevator that maybe you're too young to remember, or maybe your mind has just blocked it out. Maybe your mind just thought it was irrelevant. There's a theory that when a memory is really traumatic, your mind will repress it. Maybe your mind has just filed that old trauma away as too dangerous to deal with. It could also be that there's something called availability heuristic bias at play. And again, I touched on this at the beginning of the video. This is when our brains judge how dangerous something is based on how easily we can remember examples of it being dangerous. So if you've seen scary movies about spiders or snakes or sharks, maybe you've heard dramatic stories about people getting stuck in elevators. When you hear these things, your brain assumes these things are more dangerous than they statistically are. This is why hypnotherapy is so effective. Hypnosis can be a very relaxing state, and when you recall a traumatic memory in a relaxed state, you can actually start to desensitize that memory using hypnosis. You don't even need to recall traumatic memories to overcome them. You can also use hypnotherapy to future pace, to envision yourself feeling calmer, feeling more relaxed in those old situations that used to cause you fear. Using hypnotherapy, we can rewrite those old responses with new, more calm reactions. Phobias are incredibly responsive to hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is a very powerful way to overcome phobias. In my hypnotherapy practice, I see most of my clients making dramatic improvements, even overcoming the issues they come to me with and achieving their goals in 3 to 6 sessions. I combine regression therapy to find the root cause, desensitize trauma, and with visualization techniques to allow a person to visualize themselves feeling calm. If any fear is limiting your life, if you're avoiding places, activities, or experiences because of it, hypnotherapy can help you break free. I've helped literally hundreds of clients overcome all kinds of conditions and problems, including phobias. I offer a free consultation where we can discuss your specific situation and how hypnotherapy might be the key to your freedom. If you'd like to find out more about that, see the description for a link to my website where you can book a no obligation chat with me. If you've liked this video, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.